All right. Oh, okay.
Well, that's just because we've got people who might not make it. So as promised, we are going to record the sessions so that people can watch it on their own time if for some reason they can't make it.
I hate my recorded voice.
We'll make sure to post it on the YouTube after.
Absolutely not. Well, just want to say good afternoon, everyone. Hope you've been having a good week. I know it's been rainy, which is poopy in Chicago, but next week's supposed to be sunny all week. So we're really on the up and up. Really gonna get that summertime shy going. So I'll just get started. Let me share my screen. That. All right, so today's PD that's going to be part of our summer series is communication one. The second part will be held on July 29th. Corey will be leading that presentation, so be on the lookout for that. And just like when you get to that one, think back about what you learned in this one, because they're going to have some connections that we want you guys to make and just looking forward to. So let's go over our learning outcomes. Oh, love that from me. All right, so learning outcomes. So here are the three things that we really hope that you guys will get out of this PD. Obviously, please feel free to give feedback at the end or email me. I guess we should probably do exit tickets to see if these are helpful for people. I just thought of that right now. Okay, so we want you to be able to develop a plan for establishing the identity of your program, be able to select concrete strategies for engaging with the different audiences. So, like students versus parents versus admin versus teachers, and then being able to draft an elevator pitch for your program. And like I said, this is a part one of two. Part two is really going to be focused on internal communication, resource mapping, and really how to do communication with your team. Gonna quick go over the agenda. So we're gonna do a little icebreaker real quick after this. We're gonna talk about communication, then we're gonna have a little water bathroom break because an hour and a half is long and we can't have you guys just dying of thirst. And then we're gonna do some workshopping with elevator pitches. You guys are gonna get to go to breakout rooms and apply what you've learned. And then last but certainly not least, we are going to do review and reflection, and really think about what you can bring back from this PD and from your peers to your school to make your program better. So the icebreaker. Oh, before we get to the icebreaker, I really want to set some expectations. Like I really would hope if it's possible for everyone to have their screen up, because like it's not fun for me to just talk at black squares. Because I'm like, oh, I don't know who's here. I'm just talking to myself basically. And also just makes it more fun to participate when you can see each other and it makes for a livelier conversation. So if you can, please have your screen on and, be willing to raise your hand or, make comments. If people aren't talking enough, I'll just honestly start picking on people. So it's either that or volunteering yourself. So that's that. So for the first little icebreaker, we're going to do a quick game that I like to call Tornado Talk. I just made that name up 10 seconds ago. So so basically I'm gonna give everyone 10 seconds to think about what your favorite food is. Once you have that in your head, after I'm done speaking, we're all going to get off mute and share what our favorite food is. All right, so everyone get off mute and share your favorite food now.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Oh, okay. That I heard some stuff.
Typhoon.
Who said anything? Sadika, did you hear anyone specific?
Um, Pizza, I think.
Okay, but you don't remember who said it? That's okay. All right, for the second round, now I'm gonna give us 10 seconds and you can say your favorite food. You can say in the beginning of the 10 seconds, you can say in the middle. So we're gonna have 10 seconds starting now for you to say your favorite food at any point that you want.
Pizza.
Pot roast.
Just list her new address on the
French fries.
hamburgers.
Kilo.
Pizza.
Pasta.
All right, so that was a little better. We could hear some people's, but still sometimes people talked over each other. And last but not least, the third round, we're gonna have people share their favorite food when I pick on you. So Juan, you want to share your favorite food with us?
Pizza.
All right, Miss Eva,
French fries.
Kelsey,
Pad Thai.
Tanya,
Pot roast because I just learned how to make it. Y'all know I'm extra. That's what's up.
All right, so that was great. So basically the point of that exercise is just to see that, you know, when you don't really, when your communication isn't on, you're not really hearing everyone, you can be talking over each other, you can be talking at the same time, and things like that. Oh, lastly, want to make sure if you can, please mute yourself so you don't hear background sounds and it doesn't like echo and then we can all hear each other. All right. That being said, we are going to move on to the next part, really the meat of this little sandwich. So really we want to make sure that we get our communication down pat because it's really the keystone of having a successful program, really both communicating to your students, to your instructors, to your partners, and everyone in between really makes it so that you have a smooth running program. You're also going to want to be able not only to describe your program to different people, but you're also going to want to be able to advocate for two different people. And it's not only about different people, but like you want to be saying similar things about your program, but to each person, there's a different viewpoint on what is most important, what they need to hear about. And also it really helps you create a clear identity about your program. So then people know like, okay, when I talk about Tanya's after school program, I know exactly what it is, know what to expect, know what's going on, know where it is, know what time it is at, know who gets to participate, know what activities are going on, just really making sure that you know and that everyone who's involved knows what's going on. And secondly, we really want to think about how does your program fit with your school? So does anyone know their school's mission or vision statement?
In order to teach one, you must reach one. Excel Academy, South Shore.
All right, nice. So thinking about that, Juan would want to make sure that he is aligning his after school program with that. So making sure the emphasis on teaching to reach one, like reaching one to teach one. So really just connecting that so everyone feels like it's a cohesive message. Your after school programming goes with your school. And it also makes it easier for you when you're talking to administration about the importance of your after school program when you can connect it back on how you're helping the general mission and vision of your school. Secondly,
Can I interject? I actually think, Juan, your mission and vision, you happen to have an after school program that you're running over the summer with basketball that really aligns. Would we have like 1 minute where you could kind of share that?
Yes. So pretty much, obviously, I hate to beat a dead horse, but with COVID, a lot of our students, just with talking to them, got comfortable in the house. Obviously, you're home, you're not moving around. So a lot of them put on some quarantine weight, but a lot of them are athletes. And what pretty much with talking to them and just kind of making our weekly calls through school and kind of seeing them on Zoom and just talking to a lot of them, they were in a sense like yo, why don't you ever have your camera on? What's going on? And it's like, man, I put on 15 pounds and it was this and it was this or what have you. So obviously the goal was to not only try to get them active, but get them active and doing what it is they wanted to do, but also to kind of have some roundtable talk with them too. Some of them have summer school, but some of them don't. So pretty much the goal was to just get as much face time with them as possible. So what we did was we started a basketball skills clinic, and we have them up to school probably for almost 4 or 5 hours a day. Some of them honestly come up. We allow them to kind of do their own thing on it with the computers, obviously with some families being struck with financial hardships and different things. So a lot of them, their internet and different things are all jacked up. So what we do is we just try to get them into school, spend as much time with them, and we start our programs. And we're, talking life, basketball, and then the health and wellness piece is kind of tied in just through work. And they get to see us staff in a different light also. They get to see us talking about our struggles, our trials and tribulations through COVID and the quarantine and different things that happen. So we're just kind of building that bond. So that way, when we transition into the school year, we've already formed a connection with 9 to 10 of what we like to consider our leaders in our school. And there we know that with them comes along, each of them has 2 to 3 to 4 buddies that'll then translate into different programs, and we can kind of get them to buy into different things. So that's kind of everything in a nutshell for what our plans was. And we've already started to plan for the fall and what that looks like. And we already have students talking about how they're going to be prepared for basketball, not knowing that basketball was just kind of the carrot to get them to buy into it, because we're going to then tie that program into academic enrichment, where it's like, hey, you have to attend 2 academic enrichments in order to be able to be eligible for basketball and different things of that nature. So we're just trying to get them to buy into it, and it's been working so far.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that example. Eva, yes. Wait, you're on mute.
I had a brain freeze. McKinley's one, I love it, is solutions is not excuses. And I pledged a sorority, so we had to think about a creed about excuses. I'm not going to get into that. But one of the things that I love at McKinley is that when kids give us excuses, Dr. Plastico finds a way. She finds a solution. And she's always there, for the kids. That's one of the things I love about her and the mission pretty much of the school. Kids said, I need some clothes. That's why I can't come to school. The next day, you got polos and khakis. You know what? I don't have no car fare. All right. We got bus fare for you. You know what, Doc? I need a job because of this, and this. All right. Show up. You have it. So she creates an environment in which if kids need, she has you. Even with the staff, they need something, she gets it for them no matter what happens. And Mike, I already know, especially with our list, when we get it, we can't do this, Dr. Yep, there you go. And when she gives it to you, she says, no, what's your reason for not being successful or not doing what you need to do now? Because now we provided all these resources for you. Dr. Plastico, I need a new laptop because my laptop is not working. Okay, can you come in the next morning and get it? Or I'll have somebody to bring it for you. I remember a kid over the winter break, they, was hungry. So what she did was she went in her pocket, out of pocket, and ordered pizza for all the kids and had it delivered. I was like, did you forget my address? So one of the solutions is not excuses is really good, especially in this kind of environment, especially when you're dealing with alternative, because a lot of kids don't even know how to deal with that as well, because a lot of them are so used to, well, what's the hidden agenda if you're always going to give us what we need, and if always have excuses. So she creates that and just like, no, we just want to make sure that you have the tools and the resources for you to be successful. Don't come giving us any excuses for failure.
Nice.
I actually like, if I may, back, I actually like that, what you just said, Eva, like just taking away the excuses, and also showing them that they are, being supportive in any way, and when you were speaking of Dr. Plastico, I felt like you was talking about Kirksey. I love Dr. Plastico myself. I love her energy. her attitude, and her and Kirksey remind me a lot of each other just by the way they respond to their kids when they, their kids need something, anything, Kirksey kids need, she gets them. And I feel like those two missions from PLA and McKinley, well, really all the YCCS schools, I feel like they all tie together and intertwine together and all kind of like mean the same thing, when we're thinking about the children, just not letting them think of it as a alternative school, because alternative is so negative, but just an advantage to have a second chance to get your education so that you can be successful, and know that it's not too late to actually, finish your goal, or not too late to actually create a goal, or not too late to actually complete something that you started. So, I love that. And, it just it just reminds me of the, principal at PLA as well.
And also, if I may add something that my boy said earlier about faculty members having the same things, just to bring up a thing that happened today and why my back is hurting. So, one of the things that we're offering this summer is Move It, dance class. I joined today. And so the kids was like, well, yo, Miss Terry, I said, look, I got to get this weight off. And they were shocked to see my big self. I'm not going to call the word that I wanted to say, but moving pretty much with them and shaking it and moving and going. And I was doing what they was doing, but of course they were doing it a little bit more freer than pretty much, but I was going at my own pace. And they was just like, what? I said, there's no excuses. I got to get this weight off. So we have to be examples and setting examples also for them as well. If we're trying to buy into the mission, we have to buy in as well and look at it. So that right there speaks volumes where kids can see us doing it. It gets them want to join. It's like, oh my God, our teacher or our boss actually just joined in. And so, that is really good. So again, yes, you're right. We have to be the change. So we really do it in order to match. So that's a good thing to follow. But yeah, bro, I understand that we do have to. But thank you for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing. Secondly, when thinking about how your program fits into your school, you really want to think about, are you prioritized at your school? Like, are you in the same room every week, or are you getting moved around all the time? Are you at the same time every week? Like things like that. Just thinking about, like, do people know about it? Like if you asked a random teacher about after school program, would they know that it's going on? So just really making sure that you are getting prioritized and making sure that you're having as much consistency as you can be, because consistency really helps keep the program active and really helps with students to be like, okay, I know every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I go to the lunchroom at 2:30 and it's going to be this program. And it gets kids to come back and gets kids to be like, oh, it's Wednesday. Like, I don't got nothing to do, or like, I'm bored. Like, I know I can go there. And then also really want to think about branding. So in all your schools, not all, but some schools, like let's say you have a Boys and Girls Club, or you have something else, like what makes your program different from the Boys and Girls Club? Do people know that there are multiple programs in your school? Do they know what you offer that's different than other schools? If you ask a student about your program, would they know that it existed? So really just making sure that you differentiate yourself from other after school programs in your school and really try to make yourself stand out. And one really cool way to do that is thinking about like naming your after school program. So I'm just going to hop and show you guys 2 examples of some schools in Ohio that have 21st century and how they make themselves different from all their after school programs. So this school is in Toledo, Ohio, and they call their after school club the After School Astros. So they have their own like a little web page on their school. So if you have information that you want to learn about that kids are doing, it talks about a little bit about 21st century, what that is. Students can apply to be in the program. There's a parent survey if you want to see like, oh, my kid wants to do this, or these are the kind of clubs I want, like all of that kind. It has the information about where it is. So session A, it tells you what time it is, it tells you where it's going to be. And then also, gives you some picture examples of what are the kinds of activities these students do. So it really makes it easy for a kid to be like, oh yeah, the Astros, like the after school Astros, I know what that is. And it makes it so kids can be involved. It tells you how much it costs. It tells you transportation, all of that good jazz. So really thinking about potentially asking your school if you can have your information on their webpage, or like a little side note. Another cool program that I found also in Ohio, don't ask me why they're all in Ohio, that is very random. No, I hate when it's on. Okay, let me, oh, no, we don't want to print. Love me some technical difficulties. I'm gonna close my mail. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing for 1 second just so I can open this page. I don't know why I was taking. It was so hard.
Well, you're finding that. I'm curious, by a show of hands, how many people feel like they could set up a page on your school's webpage that could have some of those resources? Do some of you have access or be able to make that happen? I'm curious.
Question, for something like that, I know like my school has a Facebook page and different things of that nature. Would that be something that we could utilize also?
That goes very well into our next point. So thank you for reviewing that, everyone.
My
Social
bad.
media is a beautiful thing.
My bad.
No, it's okay. So then another example is there's another school and they call it the Smarties Club. So like it's a Smarties after school program, which stands for Smart Youth Significant. It has a way for kids to get involved. It has resources, tells you a little bit about it, has some pictures, and then has some contact information, and then shows you what they do in the summertime. So just really thinking about how you can utilize the things your school already has to help make your program better, and just so people know what's going on. All right. So those are just the examples. And then I want to shout out some examples from our schools, just showing Isla, Chatham, and McKinley really utilizing their school's Facebook. So this to talk about like the activities they're doing, like we're doing tie-dye, you're getting the information out about credit recovery, and then showing students going to Chicago Animal Care and Control and just doing some volunteer work. So just want to applaud these 3 schools and just showing that social media is a helpful thing, and it's a lot of students are on there, and actually now I guess parents are also very active on social media. So it's a great way to utilize the space and just show what you're doing. Pictures speak 1,000 words, as people say, and it's really a way to show what's going on in your program and just get a bigger reach for students.
We got some portraits coming on our Facebook page because our artists did their first work on canvas. So it dried today, so they was able to pick up their pieces because we do a paint and sip. They sip water. So they're doing the whole painting thing. It is awesome. I'm going to download the pictures and show them, but we just wanted to make sure, you know, that it was okay. And the kids were just like, yeah, show our work up. So definitely. Thank you.
I just want to tie in that registration form that you have students complete does have a release for photos. So that's another reason why it's really important to get those registration forms done before they're participating in activities, because we don't want to be a situation, right? But I love that, you know, each of these is a little different, right? And they're just showing off some of the work you're doing. It's awesome.
All right, and then really thinking about like both tools and strategies. So ways that you can communicate, obviously there are millions of ways, but you could do a newsletter, one that goes out to the whole school, both staff and parents, just telling them about what's going on in your programming, what's coming up, what activities you guys do. You can send out emails, you can make phone calls. Some schools have like robocalls where you can set up like you just like type out what you want to say, and then it'll call parents and like say the exact message. That's something you can think of if you want, like, especially in the beginning of the year, like we have after school programming starting this day, that day, this time. And then also really the soft skills. So just really getting to know people in your building and your students. So like, let's say you see Jamal walking down the hall, you know, he really likes Fortnite, and you know, you're starting a gaming club. You can be like, hey, I know you're always playing Fortnite. You always talk about it with me. Like, you should really join our gaming club. Or another example is like, you go to the staff meeting and put yourself on the agenda and say like, talk about how you need some instructors for after school, talk about the benefits of having teachers run the after school program, how they create new connections with students, how students then do better in their classes because they have a relationship with them. And then last but certainly not least, thinking about an elevator pitch and having something ready. So when someone asks you about your program or when you're given the opportunity to talk about your program, you know exactly what you're going to say. So right now we are on schedule. So everyone take a break until 2:40.
Awesome. Thanks everybody for your participation too. It's great. I'm going to stretch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a sandwich.
So sorry to cut everyone short. What a rude awakening over here. I apologize.
Tisk
I was
tisk.
trying to just take myself out, but I apparently brought all of you with me.
No, I'm just
What'd
playing.
you say, Tanya?
I said shaking my head, Karina. Shaking
Tanya's
my
always
head.
yelling at me, but you know what? That's okay. Keep me humble. I like that.
Awesome. I think I could speak for my group. We had a great conversation.
Getting to hop around, everybody had such great conversations. I probably cut everyone off, but that's such a great problem to have. I'm really, really pleased to see everybody have such like great things to share.
Yeah, some lively conversations definitely were going on. All right, so let's get, back to reflection time. Do, 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 do.
You can be the soundtrack. You are the mixtape.
No, I have a horrible voice. No one should hear me sing. All right, let's present.
Did it did that feel like 30 minutes, everyone, or did it feel faster? Faster. I mean, aside from me pulling everyone out against their will.
It felt like 29 minutes.
Oh no.
To it, Mike. I was gonna say the same thing.
Always out there with the dad jokes, these two.
Cancel that. All right. One, before we get started on the questions, does anyone have any role plays that they really enjoyed, or want to shout out their partner for doing a really good job on their elevator speech, or any of that kind of jazz?
I'll be the overachiever. And mention that Vanessa was really knowledgeable. There wasn't ever like her or us for her to think about what she wanted to say or to sell her programs. And even when we switched roles, she did a really good job.
Nice.
Thank you, Kelsey. And I also want to shout out Kelsey just for like her engaging and honestly like questions and the way she answered the phrase, and she knows what's going on at Aspira, and then especially when we switch roles and how she changed up the voice a little bit just to like play in her role. So thank you for having that conversation with me.
Nice. Anyone else? All right. So for the first question, I really want you guys to think about, what have you noticed in the ways that you approach the different stakeholders? Did you see yourself emphasizing some things more, changing your tone, giving different kinds of information, etc.?
I can speak on this a little bit because I've had a couple of meetings this week. Thank you, God, with some stakeholders, and like there were two women, and like just the way that I approach different stakeholders. Yes, I did see like a differentiation in like tone, and even from them as well, like them being two different individuals. One, I was asking to come on as like a dance instructor, and me and her connected on the level of like, we need to do this, this, and that, right, to get the kids engaged. If we can offer them a credit, then yeah, that's how we can, get them to come in. So like we connected on that level of like understanding like these are going to be, particularly hard times, but if we can do this, that, and the other, then we can get our students. And the other stakeholder, I was asking, her to basically just be a resource for us with like partnerships, with employment opportunities for not only our students, but for parents as well, and figuring out ways in which we could collaborate, right? If that's us coming to them for a workshop or them coming to us for a workshop. Did I say that right? I think so. For our parents and sending our students, to that facility to be interns, right? And hopefully, them gaining some employment after they graduate, or if they're alum, like, so being able to, just switch things up and just kind of give them like, here are my ask, right, of you to be in a collaborative partnership with our after school program. So that's something that I was able to kind of like see the difference in this week.
Nice. All right. Anyone else notice any differences in how they what?
I just want to say like that one of the things that came up is when talking to students, Deshaun and Fonso had really great points about the variety of offerings, and about it's also the beginning of a conversation to hear from them about what they're interested in, right? And it's, when you're the elevator pitch to students and parents is also a point of connection and developing a relationship, like all of these conversations are. So it's not just getting information out, it's also starting a dialogue. And I really like that point that they were making.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. That's just the beginning. Okay, what is one new tool or strategy that you are going to bring back with you to your program? It can be from anything from the slides, something you heard from one of your fellow site coordinators, or something that just popped in your head randomly after being here.
I'll say quality over quantity. To the programming, like in regards to just not, in a sense, for having 20 programs, more so than having like 5 engaging programs over that, if that makes any sense.
Quality.
Yes.
Nice.
Corey spoke in hours, and one of his things that take away is having one-on-one conversations about differentiating between going to college versus getting a job afterwards, helping them with the plan B, and just having the one-on-one conversations when nobody around. So actually gear them towards what their passion is. So we can work on that, as educators, because that's what we're supposed to do is get them towards their passion and just have one-on-one conversations and, just ask them, getting to know pretty much what they want to do, have their interest at heart, ask questions. And from those questions, start getting them towards their way and, not to take away nothing from, the kids that want to go to college, but the ones that are not sure whether or not to go to college. And also, it was something else that he actually said. Oh my God, it was on, my mind. As far as, when you're talking about people, giving them the impression of when people go to college, who are more better prepared. I had to do the 5 P's proper preparation. With Price, I forgot James Baker, pretty much what he said, the 5 P's about that. And you find that most people who were productive and who were ready were the ones that actually went to an after school program, and kind of put that in the pitch a little bit too. That is a good selling point, from that. And it's true now that when I think about it and reflect on it, because I was in several after school programs, and you'd be more engaged and better prepared, and also kind of get you ready for college a little bit. Just kind of just throw that tool in there, kind of get some college readiness in there just a little bit.
Nice. Anyone else have a tool or strategy that they're going to bring back with them? All right.
Oh, I am going to take back solutions, no excuses. Fantastic. Just find a way to make it happen, to have resources to for the students, have better outreach so that we can help them achieve their goals on every level that they need, whether it's job, whether it's academics, going to college, just finding a way to help the students. No excuses, solutions. Love that.
And did anyone's elevator pitch reveal something new to them about their program that they hadn't really thought of?
That it's important to let families know that there are no costs associated, and students know that there are no costs associated with the program. That just runs, people just assume that everything costs. So I think it's important for them to know that, hey, you can get a quality program that doesn't, it's not going to cost you anything.
It is a great one. Something that is easily forgotten when you're in it day in and day out. All right. If no one else has anything that they would like to share, I'd like to say thanks for spending the afternoon with us. And following this, you will get an email with this PowerPoint, the recording. And so if you want to look back or remember something that was said. And then lastly, we came up with a list of tools that you could use to better your communication with your school. Most of them are free tools that you can just add yourself or like get online or their apps. But they're going to be helpful for you, and you can start to implement them in the summer to see how they are. And then that being said, if anyone has any tools that they really like that they use, or any apps or any things that they have used for their school that really worked with them, please feel free to share them with me so I can add them to this list so it can be a growing list. And yeah, great job, everyone. Thanks for participating. Have a great afternoon.
And I just want to say thanks to everybody too, and thanks to Badaftu. She was the leader on this one. She and Karina worked on it together and got it all. And thank you for presenting and leading the conversation. I really hope that this and future conversations are helpful for you guys. We're trying to make these relevant, and I felt in our group it seemed like it was relevant to everybody. I hope it was for you all.
Yeah. Oh, and once I send this PowerPoint out to you guys, I'm going to include a little short, like, how did I do? And it's going to be anonymous. So if you hated it and you were like, this girl sucks, please write that.
No, but we should do it. I think I'm really glad you brought that up. We should do a survey after every one, I think. So.
Yeah, we'll create an exit ticket for everybody to fill out.
Yeah. But please be honest, and if there's something that you were looking for that you didn't get, please share that so then we can include that in our next PD.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. I love these meeting of the minds. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you too, Eva.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you, guys.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.